Hello again. I'm back with my tale of 4 mice. Here's the guy that I've been working on. He doesn't have his coat on yet because I'm still hemming it. Other than that, it's ready for him to go. But today, I thought I'd tackle another part. I was looking at him and I noticed that his ears, they look nice from the front, but the back is pink like the inside of it. And I thought that was kind of strange, especially for a dapper mouse like he's getting to be. And so I covered it, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Thought you might be interested in how I went about it. So the first thing I had to do was find some felt, and I found this is just craft felt. You can buy it for about 25 cents a square, and it didn't have to be perfect. It's not an exact match, but I think it's close enough, and it looks kind of nice. The contrast is kind of nice. So I got my piece of felt, and I'm going to trace his ear onto there. You can see where I did the other one. And I'm just using a white colored pencil. This is a Prismacolor. That's what I use for my drawing, so I like to use that when I'm tracing on felt. It seems to work pretty well. And I just laid him down, laid his ear down on there. Now what I did find is that you want pretty close to it, but just slightly larger than his ear, so that when you come in to sew it on, it's not going to be skimpy. You want it to cover all that pink. And I just take my pencil and trace the shape of his ear. Now where it attaches to his head, they've got it sewn in, and it's just flat. And rather than that, I decided I'd rather have a little bit of a point of his ear coming into the back of his head like that. So there I've got my felt traced. And get a good pair of scissors. Felt, sometimes, you need one sharp enough to cut fabric. And cut on the outside of that line so that you have plenty. You can always trim it back if it's too big. And just cut on the line, but on the outer edge of the line. Just cut it out like that. I'm going to put this over here out of the way. Put the scissors over there. And then you have your backing for his ear. Now I found that there's usually a right and a wrong, and that seems to be the correct side for his ear. It covers just about right. Line it up with his ear. And then I like to pin it because, well, it just works better for me. Otherwise, it'll get all out of place. And I pin it in 3 or 4 places, lining it up. And then you can pin it right to his head. I think I'm going to trim this back a little bit on that part, just like that its ears line up a little better. Since that wasn't covering anything, I can just line his ears up a little better. That'll work. Okay, put the pins out of the way. So now we've got it all lined up. It's really very simple. Then I'm sewing it on with pearl cotton. And this is just some gray pearl cotton. I think it's DMC. This was a friend of mine had left over from her project, and she gifted it to me. Thank you, Helen. Hello. And it's a little darker, but I kind of like it showing up. I like the stitches to be seen. And I've already got this threaded into a needle because sometimes it takes me a while to thread a needle. Okay, and just put a knot, simple knot in the end. Like that. And then we're going to start right down here by the point. Move that out of the way. We're going to start right down here by the point of his ear. I'm going to kind of line it up with that one. And I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to come up from underneath, back under this part that I'm adding onto it there, and bring it up about 1/8 of an inch inside the edge. Pull it all the way up. And you want to get enough thread. I usually end up too short and I have to get more thread. And tuck that little tail back underneath there. Now I'm doing a buttonhole stitch on this. It's an easy stitch. I'm not going to do a tutorial on a buttonhole stitch, but there's plenty of them out there on the internet. My favorite to find stitch tutorials is Mary Corbett on her needle and thread website. She has lots of stitches in her stitch vocabulary and lots of videos on how to stitch them. Okay, so then I'm going to start the buttonhole stitch, go down right into the body of the mouse. We're working with felt, so I'm going to start my buttonhole stitch, get it grounded, and then I'm going to come down about, well, I like to make it kind of square, so 1/8, about the same as you went in, maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. Make sure that tail sticks up, stays under there. Go back into the mouse, into the ear, pull it around. Go down another 1/8 to 1/4. Pull it around. Keep going as long as it's along the felt along the head. Just keep going with that. Got the wrong one. There we are. Pulled up. Now I've come to where the two meet. So now instead of going into his head, now you're just going to pull your thread up and go through the 3 layers, the 2 layers that were there and the one you're adding, and keep going along with your buttonhole stitch. Trying to keep your stitches even. And it may, on the edge there, they glued the ears together, so you may have to have a little resistance to your needle, but it's not too bad. And just continue around. All the way around his ear. And then you'll continue all the way around here. And when I get here, I'll tie a knot and sink the knot back up into it, pull it out through the felt, and clip it off. And that's how I did it. And that's how he's getting his ear upgraded. That's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.